Welcome everyone to the routine weekly briefing for Central North Carolina, and we'll be covering the period from Thursday through Wednesday, which is August 25th through the 31st today. First off, I wanted to start off with the North Carolina drought update that was released earlier today. And for the first time in a long time, we actually have no moderate drought category across all of North Carolina, and this has been quite a while. This is a welcome relief over the past few weeks of some pretty heavy rainfall, in some areas receiving up to 200 to 300% normal rainfall over the past week, and we'll get to that in a second. But up across the Northwest, had some pretty good rain, more than 2 inches in the last week, and they've actually been completely removed from the abnormally dry category. But you can notice up across the Northeast and Southwest, kind of bisecting our area in Central North Carolina, still in that abnormally dry conditions. So this map here shows the last 7-day percent of normal precipitation across Central North Carolina. And the cooler colors, the blues and purples, those show abnormally higher precipitation amounts compared to normal. And the blues and purples range from 150 to around 400% of normal. And you can kind of see up across the Sand Hills and up over the Triad and north into the Virginia-North Carolina border, received some pretty healthy rainfall over the past week or so. But I want to direct your attention a little bit more towards the southern Piedmont area, up around like Stanley, Anson County, up across this area. If you can see my mouse cursor here. Actually, let me try something for you guys. Let's see, kind of in this area here, has had significantly less rainfall, has been very dry so far throughout August. So we may see some drought conditions starting out that way. Also up across our northeastern counties, including Halifax and points into southeastern Virginia, has also been very dry. Very near normal in central North Carolina across Wake County, but we'll see how those conditions improve or how the rainfall comes, and we'll get to that here in just a second. All right, so for the upcoming weather pattern for Central North Carolina, we're kind of going to be in a very typical type summer-like pattern. So first off, starting with today, mostly some light rain and a passing shower will be possible pretty much anywhere across Central North Carolina. The greatest coverage will likely be across the southern and southeastern North Carolina, some better moisture down that way. But then progressing into the weekend and early next week will be mostly just some isolated to even widely scattered pop-up summertime afternoon thunderstorms, kind of typical for this time of year, but mostly very isolated to widely scattered. And even with those storms or showers and storms, we're mostly expecting mainly light accumulations at this time. Progressing towards the middle of next week, we'll have an approaching cold front kind of hanging out there, and that will move into our area, into the mid-Atlantic region by mid to next week. However, model guidance is kind of all over the place with this solution, so confidence is a little bit lower than normal during this time frame, but we'll keep a good look on it and give you a nice update on the Monday morning briefing. And then taking a look at the expected rainfall totals, you can kind of see up across Central North Carolina, either in the whites or the very light greens pretty much every day, and that's kind of typical of the scattered, isolated nature of the pop-up showers and storms. So very light accumulations expected. And even in the 5-day totals, you can kind of see it's kind of just maximized across the south and southeast, kind of where that better moisture is throughout the atmosphere. And kind of on the same lines, not necessarily expecting any severe weather potential throughout the next 3 to even 8 days. So nice and quiet, hopefully just some nice rumbles of thunder, nothing to cause any damage. And we'll take a look at the tropics here. So we have 2 little systems out there that the National Hurricane Center is tracking. One out near the Windward Islands, that is the first one on the left there. Not necessarily expected any kind of formation in the next 2 to 5 days, very low chances there. And then another wave coming off the eastern tropical Atlantic over the western African coast. very similar, very low probabilities and chances for formation on that storm, but we'll be keeping an eye on it. And in part of the 8 to 12 day outlook, courtesy of the Climate Prediction Center, very near normal kind of expected in the 8 to 14 day outlook. And I decided to throw on some of what the normal is like for this time of year between September 1st and September 7th, which is what these graphics are depicting. So the normal maximum temperature in the mid 80s, the normal minimum temperature around the mid 60s, and normal precipitation totals right around an inch, maybe a little bit more so. Now you do see some of the lighter orange colors depicting maybe above normal favored, or the light green colors depicting more above normal favored for precipitation. However, these above normal is not necessarily favored all that heavily. So kind of expecting just around near normal conditions for that time period to begin September. And that will be it. So kind of a little recap, some light showers possible across the area today, isolated pop-up showers and afternoon thunderstorms into the weekend and early next week. And we'll be keeping an eye on a cold front and see if it'll make it into the middle Atlantic by midweek. And remember that confidence is low on that, but confidence will increase on that as we get closer towards the early next week. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop in the chat. Thank you all very much.